So hard with jobs and everything.
Yeah.
Everything we have them, but not their stuff sometimes.
Please come this side because we have shade here. We stand, sit, if you want to stand, sit, whichever comfortable.
아니, 나 따따가란테 그래 이니 나서 제고 부르는 당고게 이니 가란테 간다. 이니 한국까지 포레티.
So the first item in our program is the circumambulation, which is called Kora in Tibetan.
ini tadi ini waktu kita nambah losungan ngasih orang yang kita nyamdo mah ini masih ini cik sempurna cik ini kalau seni kau ini cik masih mah kita yang punya nasi cik ini zaman cik ya satu sini ada cik tengah itu ya penghuni aku cik mang ni ini tak cik mungkin tak sulit ni mana tu kita ada masih cik ni mana asam ini kena jadi mana tu tak ada ini sempurna ini maya wajib cik ini cik lepas mana tu ini nyamnya cik ada tambahan ini jadi konbret kita mana tu konjul thon ini yang cik.
So in the general practice, when you are circumambulating temple or gardens or stupas like that, what you do is first of all you bring forth the intention, thinking of all motherly sentient beings, and all beings are our mothers, and then we aim for all of them to attain enlightenment, and temporarily we aim to pacify all sicknesses, warfare, all negativities, and then to achieve world peace. So that should be our intent. And as we actually engage in our meditation, we cultivate love and compassion in our heart. And then without speaking to one another, silently, we keep on walking, and then without being distracted, rather cultivating love and compassion in our heart, and then we walk around. So that is called walking meditation.
ini ya, kalau kita sambil berjalan di siapa pun macam ini yang sedikit nampak sorry, ini saya juga orang tu siapa je, ini kosong jawab tu kita, macam itu.
It is also called the peaceful walk because you have a very peaceful pace and your body in a very humble pose, and then you walk in a very even pace like that. So that's what we'll do here. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we're having a festival here. Yes, it's open to the public. Not yet.
Hola, so any that tambo terrain che number 10 day, Punkan Samala, ya any the pepper any 2 chess, Tashi delis shogins.
So Rinpoche wants to offer his auspicious greetings to you all who have come here today.
Hene that terrain around so de tobo tatang around so gucci any pogici any around so chudang yon. Any mixer get in the tongue around so tata any chant any as a quadric yours.
So today we have organized this program, this Tibetan Cultural Festival, with the religious aspects of Tibetan Buddhism as well as the cultural aspects of Tibetan Buddhism.
Tene dela ya tanga zu zo ene ya chapdan nanghe ene tatanga zu ene yugal dharamsala ne ene Java Rinpoche ge mixegi ta tatanga ran zu ge ene zo ji be yong ene ya ene dugar chokpa ge tene nga zo ene na nga zo gegen sorba ji konde peyo tene tenage chuchoge toneta tenangara zo Khenpo number storm down ene tenage tanga zo lombang tene loma tene mambochi dugo tene kon number ge rombaigend ene tenda wochi ge kalsa ene tene demo da so ya pya ene rombagi don go chugins.
So for the cultural music and dances, we have one of the famous Tibetan performers from the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, who is a renowned artist from the Tibetan government in exile. His name is Tsering Lodoe. He will be performing those dances and songs. And for the religious, from the religious aspects, we have Rinpoche, who is our guiding teacher, and we have other Khenpos who are abbots here, and we will be performing the religious ceremonies.
Ene mixegi ta ngaran zo ge ene ma ene boge tumo ma yin be ryong chap dang ge nang ni tene yang nga zu gang seng dang ene te na yin che mixer tene tene mangbo ji tare ke yo ene ta ta ngaran song hie nang ge tene kalma de ta ta rong chi pe ge yo de kon ta ta tene jor men do ene song dang tene tangbo ta ta ngaran zo ge ene ta boge lokse tumo ma yin pa la tangbo ene trashi ene temdrer de ji de nang so yore dende na ge tata tene ngara so Tsering Lodoe ene tangbo ene Tashi Shoelpa ene zego temdrer tangbo go sungres.
So there is another speaker who is on his way right now. He hasn't arrived, he's on his way. And before he arrives, we will begin with our traditional way of how we begin our ceremonies, that is with auspicious proclamations. Tsering Lodoe is going to perform that auspicious Tashi Shoelpa.
ene de tene po ge chik da tumo mayin ba ryong ge chapdang jire te ma se ge tene da ngara so go de gar tham chi go la chi ta te ene mixer chi ene ngon zu ya tene chi nang go yore pe na da jawa Rinpoche gi ze go yina yang re ene te na gi ta chi ngara so ene khade yina te ngara so temder ge thoman ra bo chi la tene chi zi go yore.
So this is the Tibetan cultural beginning, like, you know, wherever we have a performance or festivities and so forth, that it is begun with, it is always started with this auspicious proclamation.
Laso ene tata tene jokpa tene khong tene thon na gare tene sama thuri che tak de.
Yeah, Tsering Lodoe will be performing pretty shortly, so thank you very much. So if you all could stand up, we want to first of all sing the Tibetan national anthem. Rinpoche. Tsering Lodoe indala.
Check. Thank you.
Tinanda. Nganzo kennam de inda.
Si shibende tu kuchubete tupte sambe mubuna tenju nonji gyashi kyongwe gu tile kiru tsoke doji kamsun debe choku chamzi kyong namgun kawa gyade upang kong lare punzo de shima dange punjong chuka sungki kela diki zote sa pe kyab chusi ki pe yuta tupte chocho kebe zamli yang pe ki gushi de pe la cho punjong tenju ke ze ni yu ki Tashi yu nang pum do zho we sik na chu mun be yu le ke kyu ji. Thank you.
ane de ene ngaran zoge ene bola tang mama ene tutok thang thong jarbo sange ji ene ta mixe ge je ta dang zo lama sa chimbo shi chungare ene khongge ene ngaran zoge boge janani ya jagar ge pa do jazam jat je ene de na gi chola trodang samba lamkha tam je changma tene mangbo je zawana de na ye tene boge medang zidang ryong tene ge zala mangbo je perche jene o tene je naware de tene khongge ta igi nang ge ta chashi ene jigres lamo ge tapse mangbo je nang yores.
So there was this Tibetan great meditation master called Tangpong Gyalpo. He was a highly accomplished meditation master who built 108 bridges and 108 big boats from, you know, all the way from China to India. So he was the one who actually composed this Tibetan opera. So he actually wrote like 33 volumes of Tibetan opera. And so this Tashi Shoelpa, which is actually the proclamation of auspiciousness, is one of his compilations.
Taki Jungbe Tunandu Je Chumbe, Nanzuwa Yalu Tashi Shoba Sevade, Pota Kungara Wakasha, the Gotham Titetu Labatini, Milampa Nuka Musum Basunova. Whoa, Lodo, Simdua Jamne Mogo Baledanga Bule Yisutuna, Nanzuwa Yalu Tashi Shoba Sevade, Tutalo Alaga Arisado, Mondena, Ewam Dugusi Bipine. Tusa tuji tazu rangse same gegap topde noli yake sa pota ki dingje khangdo reba jasin sin chapju joshi molama shuge yendo bolo zungolo wolo yelo ni sa chalos oh, yes, when that is alone.
right. Welcome, everyone. This is Ami Tsering Wangmo. She has an amazing voice. We have her CDs for sale here. She's going to start off today with singing the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche mantra.
Never play?
I want to share a Tibetan classical song and one Tibetan opera. So, hi, shall we? Yes. Ewam yellow. Thank you. Merci. Dankeschön. Shukriya. And see you now later. Okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have a slightly change in our program. The person who is supposed to speak something at this time, he's not here yet. So I'm happy to cover his time a little bit and gonna sing a Tibetan kind of a temporary modern song. So how many of you have heard Tibetan modern songs besides chanting? Tibetan modern song? You want to hear it? Okay. Jason, I love you. Dasunya velai milam nam sangye konki nam tu jeneson siso van yurtenzi gyatsu gyagar pape yutu jenendu save lama benzi gyatsu save lama benzi gyatsu gunge konta dukke Shoelpa du sandila natsa Tashi Omo mani peme Munda Zamling shide neve Okay, let's move your body. Thank you.
So the next performance is a debate. The debate will be performed by two abbots here. They are our teachers here. They will be debating. So this is a philosophical debate. So Rinpoche will like to introduce what a philosophical debate is.
네, 다 ngaranz tene da pog ene chudan ryong yung hong rawo chi so wata ta ene jagal mata ene nalenta gten ruksures.
So the Tibetan Buddhism comes from India, and all of the philosophical studies actually originate from India, and the studies actually came from the great university in India called the Nalanda Buddhist University.
다 데라 ene chitang ga tang ngaran so gutene da chugi chi ene nga so hieba zoba somba se de tang ngaran so chi temba ya be ya le ga che ya la tene tene ga sobo chi ene namba som che yores.
So the scriptural transmission of the Tibetan Buddhism lies on three aspects: the propagation or the teaching aspect of the teachings, and then the debate aspect, and the composition aspect. So these three aspects are the scriptural transmissions of the teachings.
다 데라 tene chitang ga tang ngaran so zoba tela ya tang nga chipet long da bo ge poni chi tene so so ge te ya che tene kamja ya ne ya chi ge ma ta ge tang che che ene tene ske ta chi za ya jole da train di ge chi mi se ngaran so chi lo se da wa da te ya da chi che che ene ta ko na mi ge tene ya tene ngaran so na gem de chi che zul
So the debate is very logical. You know, there's a logical debate. They use lots of syllogism, like, you know, when they debate, they have to try. They actually are working on one topic, and they go on. You know, like one is a defender, other is the one who is actually challenging. So here we are just performing this very symbolically as an auspicious interdependence. So thank you very much. You will get to witness. So the abbot Namechak Khenpo, his name is Namechak Khenpo, who is sitting right there on the cushion. He is now the defender. The Khenpo here, Khenpo Ugen Wangchuk, he is the challenger. So the debate is going to happen in between these two Khenpos.
Oh, I can imagine.
Lama Dongbo Jesun Jambayan Lanjanza Lo Omara Bazanandinde Omara Bazanandide Omara Bazanandide Omara Bazanandide Omara Bazanandide Tsering Karavezenge Dalu Timomen Barabzene Katan Tenje Shunlo Dobay Lodoe Bobe Nawa Zaldo So Digitawa Chuchen Oya, sta. Maimba taus. Benden dawa dakwe. Kanshi tsenyi gewe lokdo pinzo ne saben dang bella chuda yunen do longchen ne la mimba tabo dojurba. Dechire dagi thongmara nyingje tebragi she sungba taus. Ya, da shir nyingje di ge chenpo yimba ma ses. Ya, da nyingje la shir nyingje dang nyingje chenpo ni yuebe cher. Do. Oya, ona. 다, 다오나 지닝제 당 세메베 닝제암 닝제 첨보라 캐브라 예베 실 그 어야 제나 캐브라 자주 예베 실이야 네 샤제
제 닝제는 선제 젤을 여바 강시 체벌 디모 많이 비 닝제는 아니 산토볼 히비 산조스만나는 예비처럼
야, 어나 아메 불라데 닝지데 최전 야, 닝지 첨보 많이 맡아
다통
야, 아메 불라데 닝지 최전 닝지 첨보 많이인데
많이데 체메바 많이 비처럼
야, 아메 불라데 닝지 최전 야, 체메바 임바타스 랑기 불라 체메바 미국에 실
마쳐
차발로
마차때 니가고디 체메바 데이나 셈젠 체메바 미과 체메바 이마 강시 데는 마이 벌 미과 좀 이비처럼
야, 어나 야,
That's it. So now the debate topic is on compassion. The debate topic is on compassion. So, so the challenger here is asking the defender, saying that, is there a difference between compassion? They says yes. So does that mean that there are compassion, like lesser compassion and greater compassion? Yes. So is the mother's compassion the immeasurable compassion? Then the defender says no. So isn't it great compassion because the mother loves or cares for her child immeasurably? He says no. Well, how is it so? Because that compassion is aimed only for her only child, but rather that immeasurable compassion is aimless. It is immeasurable because it is aimed toward immeasurable sentient beings.
Oh yeah, da ona ya da semjen tamje la 닝제 첨보 mes 닝제 첨보 de saton bala shiwe gansa ma to mes ona semjen tamje la 닝제 yonas da 데이터베 닝제 de chojens 닝제 마인 ba ta de sha yin be chriya
다 맞아
야 데이터베 semjen tamje gi jila ye benna magi bula tewa tabe tewa 닝제 de 닝제 de sha yin ba ta 야 착바이 매실이야
맞춰
야 오늘 착바이나 더샤인베 맞춰봤다
맞춰
어야 나 착바이나 더샤인베 맞춰때 방기 물 많이 불었대 떼왔다 보대 착바이자 더샤 많이 쓰주 인베실
너통
어야 오나다 저 착바이나 유몽바이바 맞춰외실
맞춰
어야 맞춰때 다 많이 불었대 착바디 착바이자 더샤 많이 쓰주 인베실
다 맞아
야, 다 많이 불렀대 차과디 여자 많이 받아.
지철
많이 불렀대 제와 닝지의 최전에서 주도차 임받아야.
너통
어야, 닝지양 일라 여자양 임받지 여받아.
너통
오.
得通
哎呀，你这因了这下一把去买把它呀，去你这的特别注意了，这下的快点注意别去呀，
맞춰
啦
맞춰
呀，我那你这因了去特别注意别马上把它呀，
맞춰
哦，你这了的呢呀，快点来给就要把它，
得通
哦，快速。
So now, again, the challenger is asking, okay, you mean to say that there are two kinds of compassion, just like compassion that can be generated by ordinary person, and that great compassion or immeasurable compassion which is generated by those sublime beings on the higher path? Then he says, yes. So is the mother's compassion not compassion? They says, no. You know, does it mean that the mother's compassion is arising from desire? Then yes. So does that mean that mother's compassion is an emotion? And says yes. So does that mean that that compassion is not a cause for bringing forth enlightenment? He says, not established. He says. So isn't it so that the mother's compassion is something that is arisen from attachment? Says yes, it is established. So isn't compassion and attachment paradox? Because and then he says not established. So isn't it so that compassion brings forth enlightenment rather, and then desire actually is a cause, because attachment is a cause for cycling within samsara. So that was so now the defender got a point. The challenger actually got a point to prove toward the defender.
Oh yeah, da. Oh, my bullet the Ninja Mayins, the Chayins, yeah, that the Kora give you ins, they target you Mayins, Ruala. Oh, yeah, Jenna, my bullet this, my bullet this,
Yeah.
Corolla give you ins, target you Mayins, Roya. That my bullet with Ninja Chava ins, called target you Mayins, the Kora ins, they are Chava,
맞춰
La.
맞춰
야, 많이 불렀지. 대화디 귀야. 코를 주인배 마차바타.
得通
오, 많이 불렀지. 대화라 때네. 탈바통주 여가다야.
得通
오, 제나. 나 더샬라 때네. 탈바통주 여가다야.
得通
오, 나 유몽발라 때네. 탈바통주 여가다야.
得通
나 유몽발라 때네. 탈바통주 매바타.
지철
유몽발라 때네. 탈바통주 매바타. 유몽바이는 동영기 교인 바 차르시리야.
다 맞아
야, 유몽바이나야. 유몽바이나 동영기 교인 바 마차바타야.
得通
유몽바이나 동영기 교인 바 차바타라서 유몽발라 때네. 대화 토바지 때네. 미세베시리야.
다 맞아
야, 쇼체. 유몽발라 때네. 대화 토바.
年梦的从边的这边插挂刚是蓝的什么的出现
유몽당 송진도 주르베 차바가.
야, 네年梦的从边的这边插挂刚是蓝的什么的出现
람기 심베 유몽바디.
야,蓝的什么年梦的出现
람기 심베 유몽바 더 차디. 유몽고야. 람기 심베 유몽바 더 차디 최젠. 야, 주더 샤임바타.
得
다디야. 주 코레 주 마인세 주 이마타야.
得通
야, 나오나 아메 불렀지. 제와 닝지디 최젠. 람기 심베 더 샤임바타야.
지철
나 아메 불렀지. 제와 디치야. 더샤 아메 불렀지. 제와 닝지디 람기 심바 마인베실.
지철
야, 아메 불렀지. 제와 디치 람기 심바 이마타야.
지철
라.
지철
다음에 불렀지. 제와 닝지디 치 람기 돕기 심바 마인베실.
다 맞아
아메 불렀지. 제와 닝지디 람기 심베 더샤이 베실.
인해 연대
맹게유스.
양대
야, 다 강다 이날에 걔는 참보제고 당하지. 나 강다 이날에 참보제고 당.
So now excuse me. So, again, the translation goes. So now the challenger has a point that, the mother's love is attachment. So in order to attain enlightenment, we have to have altruistic, great compassion. So does it mean that the mother's love won't bring forth enlightenment? Then the defender is saying, why not? It says, because mother's love has attachment, and attachment is that discursive emotion, which is the cause of samsara, then the challenger, the defender says, not established. So then he says, prove it. He says, because there are paths that we can take, desire upon the path and bring forth liberation. So does that mean that the mother actually brings the love within the path to bring forth enlightenment? So that is the debate going on.
Oh yeah, that counterus. Yeah, that my bullet with the church chapter jeba injans. Yeah, yeah. Tarbi gobang to be usually be yeah. That on a chitangi, chirigi, that my bullet with the ninja tabu de la dene taraya, tebi ninja and Julie get over yeah. That data with tebi ninja de Ansea, don't you talk sheriff get this in Naya. That comes from Kora to Nella to you. Oh yeah. That data with tebi ninja, don't you talk sheriff gets in the Dungela to the ya, Tatu Sanjigo to you. All our souls. Sonam de Tamje Sivani, Tomne, Ribetan, Auspicious, Kora, Sibe, So now the debate concludes saying that if a mother has that kind of compassion and also has attachment, but if it is endowed with wisdom, then isn't it possible to attain enlightenment? Yes, it is. So that it concludes with a mother's compassion, if it is endowed with wisdom, will attain enlightenment. Thank you.
Ene laso ene tata ene kamate son la tene de person ene.
So now our guest speaker, Tensum of Tibetan Children Education Fund has arrived. So we'd like to request him to speak a few words.
Yeah.
And the Tibetan Culture Festival.
Lay it on.
So, first of all, I would like to say Tashi to Gochen Rinpoche and thank him for this special opportunity to be here with you all today. The beauty that surrounds this special place at Ewam is visible to all of us. But if you are a Tibetan living in Montana, that beauty that surrounds us at an internal level is so much more apparent to me. And so I cannot even find the words to convey my sense of gratitude, to convey my sense of happiness whenever I come to this part of Montana and see this beautiful garden of 1,000 Buddhas. And so as a Tibetan, as a Buddhist, I want to convey a special gratitude to Ewam, to Tuku Rinpoche, and to all the dedicated staff that is making such a wonderful, beautiful place here in Arli. Today, I have to admit that I am speaking before you at a really short notice, but on my drive up from Butte, I was trying to think in my mind, what can I share with the special people here in Arli? What can I reinforce that the Rinpoches and the Khenpos must have already told you? And I thought that one of the few things that I would share with you is thoughts as to why, as a Tibetan, I feel the Tibetan culture is so unique and so worthy of preservation here in the West. And I thought that I would just take a few minutes to try and reinforce that concept. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in his talks, I have heard him talk about the whole of humanity as a beautiful garden of humanity. When I visualize that concept, I always think of Tibet as a small flower, but a beautiful flower that is now nearing extinction. I think that Tibetan culture is beautiful from multiple points of view, but above all because of its special spiritual heritage. I think if there is one thing that Tibetans can offer to the world at large, it has got to be a unique spiritual heritage. While here in the West, people concentrated on the science and mathematics and built wonderful institutions like Yale or Harvard or Eton, back in Tibet, they built these huge lamaseries or monasteries where all that they tried to learn was human consciousness, where they tried to understand the human mind, where they tried to see that how by studying the mind we can find that essence, that elusive essence towards happiness. And so I have no doubt that today when we speak about Tibetan culture, it is that spiritual heritage that is most worthy of being preserved, that is most worthy of being nourished, and that is most worthy of being rejuvenated. In ordinary Tibetan homes, lay homes like mine, just to give you one example, one of the first prayers that we teach to our children is a prayer called the Immeasurable Thoughts. And that in that prayer for immeasurable thoughts, the core message which we teach to our children as the first prayer is to think of the welfare of all sentient beings. As a Tibetan, I feel so special that this is the first thought that we teach our children, is to think about every sentient being. Although I'm not a Rinpoche, I'm not a Tulku, I don't know the Buddhist philosophy in detail, just the thought that any culture whose first prayer that you teach to the children is to think about every sentient being, I think that is a culture, that is a thought, that is a race of people that needs to be nurtured and to be preserved.
I can.
And then, especially at a special gathering like here at Arli, where we are just so fortunate to have teachers of the caliber of Gochen Rinpoche with us, nurturing our spiritual growth, trying to teach us that wisdom and compassion go hand in hand in our search for enlightenment. I wanted also to share a thought that I learned from a friend who used to be an ex-professor at the University of Missoula. His name is Bill. Bill came across Tibetan Buddhist teachers several years ago. And Bill, as a young man, he will openly admit to being disturbed, to having these outrageous fits of anger and rage. You know, another act of compassion in action. But you know, to continue my thought with Bill, his connection with the Tibetan teachers brought about a metamorphosis, a change in his life. And so when I come across a gathering like Ewam, where you have like a Sangha and when you have a teacher, as a Tibetan, my biggest hope is this, that the teachings of the Buddha, the cultural heritage of the Tibetans, will bring about some kind of transformation in each of you, in the sense that there should be some tangible shift in your own character. So much so that one day when friends, I don't know whether it's 6 months or years down the line after you have been in the presence of someone like Gochen Rinpoche, someone, it could be a friend, it could be a family, someone comes up to you and tells you, what have you been eating? And you're perplexed and say, why? And he or she tells you, I notice a certain gentleness about you. I notice that now you don't get angrily so easily. I notice that you don't react as harshly as before. And when you reach that stage, I think that is the ultimate tribute to your teacher. I think that is the ultimate contribution of the Tibetan culture to members of the Sangha that you follow. Because I ultimately believe that whatever teachings you learn from the Rinpoches has to be translated in your daily lives so that you become gentler, kinder, more compassionate people. Finally, I also believe that with the Tibetan spiritual heritage, it is possible to train our mind just as we know that we can train our bodies. We all know that we can sculpt our bodies, build our bodies, that is visible, that is tangible. But the culture that I belong to teaches one and all that it is also possible to train the mind so that we are less disturbed, so that we are calmer, so that we are gentler. Living in a society here in the West, and I realize that Arley, Montana may not be the epitome of that, we have to realize that we live in this materialistic culture where the pressures of day-to-day living, the pressures of trying to make it in society, the pressures of feeding your family, paying the mortgage, those are all so compelling. So much so that I personally, and I know that many people share this view, is this that people here at some level has lost a sense of balance as far as their lives are concerned. And even in the midst of wealth, even in the midst of plenty, because of that loss of balance, people can still be unhappy. And I think that because our spiritual heritage teaches us that the mind can be trained to be calmer and more peaceful, I think one of the biggest reasons why here in the West we should nurture and try and protect the Tibetan culture is because I think that it is possible with the teachings to bring about a balance in our life. And that balance, as far as I'm concerned, it is so important because it is that balance in our lives as lay persons that will ultimately allow us to combine together wisdom and compassion and hopefully take us to the next level of spirituality that we all seek for. And so this is the short message that I wanted to share with you about Tibet, about Tibetan culture. Needless for me to say, this is a special gathering. Please keep Tibet in your hearts. Please keep Tibetan culture in your heart. Even as you learn the precious scriptures from the religious masters that we have, please have this empathy, please have this love, please have this compassion for the Tibetan people. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Tsering Wangmo would love to share with you the chant for the Prajnaparamita Yum Chenmo, the central figure in the garden. Many of you know this chant, so please sing along with us. It would be wonderful. This is the Heart Sutra, and if you're familiar with that, I think that you will feel how wonderfully heart-opening this chant is.
So before Rinpoche starts, we still have 3 minutes, so I'm going to sing one of my pieces. It's, I hope you know Om Mani Padme Hum. It's quite popular mantra, so I'm going to sing it. And this was featured in film Himalaya in 1999, and the movie went up to 72nd Academy for the Best Foreign Movie, was nominated, but somebody took it. So anyway, I'm going to share this. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have history of Tibet, and Rinpoche will be going to share it, and Kamala is going to translate. Listen carefully.
One more time, Rinpoche wishes to convey his Tashi Dile to everyone.
ene ta ngaran zu ene ta pho singen di ene ta zambul lenge ngaran so ta thoshuk ene himalaya ta ene chi drde be ene ta pen zamnengi ene sa thoshu ene sa zangwa jere ngoma yina ene tera main te karesena khawe gi jons ta yodo ta chama khari ko sa ta tene jere ya.
So he says, Tibet, as we all know, it's located in the Himalayan region. It is also the highest land in the world. It is always perpetually, at least in the past, perpetually surrounded by snow. So sometimes it used to be called the snow land also.
다 되게 애니 말아서 로주테 그러는 다 애니 다 버티 애니 지 통말 야 다지 애니 잠소인 바도 데니드네 야 rum바인도 데니 지금 와서 애니 야 보드 터지 애니 다 타마들은 가서 잠벌에 토슈데 차고 로주지 요래 여바 마세 데니 등산 히말라야 리트선네요 직 동당 되게 다 균이게 소차들 망보지 되게 되고요. 대성당 아니 들리지 마라스.
And so if we look at the very origin of Tibet, it seems at one point of time it was an oceanic place, and that the underground forces pushed the plate up to this high point. In fact, people have discovered shells and conches and other things that prove that once upon a time there was, it originated from the oceans.
ene da dela ene da bok korangachi ene semgendang dene mixer making draw chungdang gna ene borang logic tol khanre yorsena ene ngaran chu mreite trigo tang trani chungwa yin bag logic logic de share yores.
And so he says we have our own creation story. We have our own stories as to how the animals came there and how the humans came there. According to our theory, we trace our ancestry to the monkeys.
Da di trigo te yang trigo de kitang de mayen ba ene trigo chang chop sam ba se ji de ngara so phakwa ji ren se ke nam chol chol chi o de ge de trigo ji se thang gong bo de sing de la ene sa ka sa da korang tin yok de be kap so ene yang cha le ni ja be ge ni tramo yang so do yi sha ka ji na tramo so do ka ji ge na ene yang simo so do yang de ji de ngara so ene ni ma mang go le ji da de de je no ma de ji ne ene da ka se ene 야 파과를 되니 야 되다 가르쳐 버렸어요. 다 처럼 미긴 로 빼야 되니 그래서 더 되게 되니 대인 스트레스 상상 세제제는 되니 나와는 나한테 강들 되니 지구당 스모니는 늦게 되니 정말 아니 다 로아 쪽 아니 생견도 속이야 선발 제발 비우 보고 쪽용 쪽이 되니 rambar이인데 다 지금 알아서 거야 배제 친제네 ene pasam je la tiu ngap ja se chong je na tris chung lo ji chi ya gres
chik do ji chik tiu che shinda de karsa
tram tras ni lo
tramo se de karsa ni injila
tiu jung go tiu ngama lo de
tiu ngama lo
de tiu wa do ti ta nga sa ina ta sim je tram tiu re mi da go
tang is tiu sik shinda shlap sho so anyway Rinpoche was saying that this monkey from whom we believe that all Tibetans originated was not an ordinary monkey. In the sense, we believe that this was in some way an avatar or an incarnation of the Buddha of compassion itself. And there is, Rinpoche says that according to the mythology, so we have this monkey mother who mated with a Khenpo, and that I can't find the English word for it, and I was struggling with it. And Rinpoche said, it is another form of ape, something with like a long tail. So just think of it, even if I don't have the exact English word, it was basically this mating between this mother monkey and this father body, which for lack of the exact word, I'm just going to call an ape. And so from the courtship of these two animals came about a string of other monkeys that gradually multiplied over time.
Tene deje tene tiwo mangbo chane khala go marane tene kozo de so nga longba tene minra nga la chongne tene tene sikyo descend ra nga cha ore ta descend ra minra wa drok cha chene descend minra wa drok cha de tene bogo ta me rek drok senge de tene sikyo res.
And in time, as the number of children increased, it mandated them to search pastures in 6 different regions. And that is why when we talk about the original race of Tibet, we talk about the 6 original races of Tibet.
다 디닝 아란 저기 직 당보에서 디닝 아란 저배 지금 가서 애니 가르세 애니 양 렉던데 츠보던데 중앙에 가서 로주 나는 해도 되네 당보들 하는 지금 많이 바그 드랍스고 요래 되니 마상성에들 다 때서 애니 렉 츠보던데 가서 로주 나는 하는 제 드랍스고 되니 코서 그 추가자야 되네 저 지금 자버려 추가자 난게 대세 망보 장들 저 대갑텔라 되네 파치를 되는 거는 저기 애니 제 드랍스 그래 이나야 제 말이다 미드 소데스 종고다 뭐거든 요래스.
So we also talk about a period almost like a prehistory. In Tibetan it's almost like a devilic age, and it's not actually devilic age, it's just human beings, but we were more barbaric, more uncivilized. So there was this phase when we were in a more barbaric form.
야, 되네 가란 저기 애니 럼발견도 야야지 친제 되네 가란 저기 들어 간산격에 나오나 되네 보기야다 가란 저기 애니 다 가르세 애니 잘보던데 종아리에서 되네 잘보던 가르세 되네 디 값스테서라 애니 보라 랑hingi 애니 다 머리게 줄어던데 애니 다당가란 저거 번생인데 다 가서 가시 사자니 애니 지랑 잉기 애니 셰바견데 차제 애니 되게 용 되게 되게 닝바치 종아래다 되는 되는 거라 그걸로 공탐망부게 나왔더니 되게 지 드리시 종이야스.
And so he says in time people improved, our civilization evolved to the point where Tibet had its first king, and we also had our first religion. The first religion practiced in Tibet is called Burn religion, and that religion lasted for thousands of years.
다 대탐지게 이니 쪼보게 당가라도 이니 벌랑기 리용 이니 최 가르사 이니 최당 리용 이니 다 맨당 근데 다 고조랑 인기직 이니 로지지월다 대 버그리용 인슈라고 되래 되네 되게 제라 이니 람바르겐도 되네 자거니파 이니 낭괴 이니 당가라 저거 이니 자르 집주라스 그 제리 인사야 근데 그 초니 이니 가서 배 이니 낭괴게 야다 뺀다 되네 라마망고 되네 펩 데네슈 되네 버저 쪼모드네 리용데 낭추지 차버려 대자 벙 되네 뭔가 룩수지 벙이 다던 가서 룩수당 되네 낭괴 룩수 되니야 되네 데이스 직 가서 봐 and so
that is how Tibet developed its unique culture it had its own system of medicine. It had various other unique aspects to its culture. But then the next big jump is when we had all these wonderful teachers from India come into Tibet to spread the word of Buddhism. And that is when our society underwent a huge change. There was a time when Buddhism and Pen religion were influenced each other a little bit also.
And stop the region by Pond, so Tatang around so get any nature Indian to Soda, Alam Tinichik around so Chomamo Tonichik, any Jawadam. Tang around the jig, so any Ranking the chick last soda, nature with a Shinala so quality lad of Ziada. And it then I yet tang around the jig song by the Chomam which only that Kongi yet so keep Mangochi Tachi, Zoda Midavado, Tendachi Yore.
Thus, and then the original Pen religion of Tibet, Rinpoche says, it has almost uncanny similarities with the spiritual practice of the Native Americans here, right here. And he says, in the way that we celebrate nature, in the way that we burn our junipers, in the way that we believe the spirits to be alive, there is great similarity between the Native American thoughts and the Pen religion prevalent in Tibet.
Then I get the net around to go penetrate the negata and it's over that the require nature glass. The young return glass that the nigger purchase repeated need just sing it in the water and any drag on the purchase the young art and sit down. What that the negative is young damage about what you might dress.
And so he says, after the advent of Buddhism in Tibet, premised on that religion, Tibet developed its own unique civilization, its own unique thoughts, its own unique wisdoms. We had like our own system of medicine, our own system of astrology, our own system of sciences. And so a unique culture started in Tibet after the advent of Buddhism.
Nangwege Tashi Semji Tsering Sanayandra, that the Digital Pay, the Nichingas, any Ribetan, Yachemo, Tangsaba, Flapper the Chamba, Ningi, any Yampang, the Ningasu, any Druyak, or that the Digital Region, and Zachemo. Any Tatanga Sokochi, any Tajikatape, any Kachemo Shumare, the rest of that, the Region, Gitan, Gichingarato, Mida, Jitang, Chawa, Sama. 가령이네 진짜 region 디글 법단다고 저기 토니 아니 말하는 저 배는 미기당 지가라도 미기 제와 나와 치와 가령이 얘기하더니 말하는 저 탐지 대단 레바다고 차도 그래 근데 손상 근데 다다가 도등하라 저 배는 아니 이게 샤브로 있는데 아니 지금 내가 가령이네 그 파지가 되는 나 주도를 하자는 내가 쇼키 보여래 다다는 거 좀더 드시바 있는 텐다래요 코스 다다디 아니 예라 아니 다다 Read
it. And so he says, in short, so this is what happened, is that when this Buddhist culture came into Tibet, Tibet started this, what you may even call it mind science, this focus on trying to study human consciousness, this focus on compassion, this focus on altruism, and trying to, do things to benefit others. A core culture then developed in Tibet based on these basic philosophies. And so today, when we present songs like the ones that you witnessed, or when we have ceremonies that we will talk at length later on, you have to realize that much of this culture is premised on these basic Buddhist philosophies.
Any tata, any gelatin, and chew mixing it, any 야 도마르 그지 다당가랑주 이니 사이트에서 마 신gel라 상면바에서 반돌 에네 잠볼로 요르데 제야 그다가 와서 되네 찹던 지워를 추던 레바지 다다 때더니
And so he says, talking about religion, we are now going to have a special ceremony to bless the land, remove obscurations, bring about all the positivities of this day and of this place.
Ramyam kham om ahong om ahong.
We have a short announcement, and Dana is going to do it.
Welcome everybody. On behalf of the Ewam Sangha here in Arli, we're really happy to have you here today. We're going to take a little break for a while and give everyone an opportunity to have some lunch and some drinks, walk around the garden, enjoy the flowers, do circumambulations if you like. We have vegetarian and non-vegetarian meals over here, Tibetan food, very delicious, lots of iced chai and coconut water. I also wanted to announce that Tsering Wangmo has some really beautiful Tibetan things here for sale. She has some pashmina scarves, some malas, some t-shirts, and she does this to benefit her medical clinic in Lhasa. Up until very recently, there were no traditional Tibetan medicine clinics available to people in Lhasa, and Ani took this upon herself to establish this clinic that has been greatly beneficial to many people. And as a way to fundraise for her clinic, she sells these beautiful things. So not only will you find beautiful things for yourself to use, but the proceeds go to a very good cause. So please take a look around, enjoy the garden, and we will start the program again in about 45 minutes. Thank you.
Om